to the track, the wall, makes the leap, and makes the catch! Amazing catch by Junior! He got it! A perfect game! 13 strikeouts. And Bonds hits right high! It's a game! It is out of here! 7:56! What a special moment for Barry Bonds! Swinging a long drive, deep to right, going, goodbye! He has done it! He has changed the game of the night with one swing of his bat!
Hello and welcome to the 50th episode of all time of
Champions Adjust.
Let's freaking go. Very excited to be here. It's crazy because we started this, gosh, at like pre or like just post COVID. Yeah, like 2021, right?
Really?
With you, me, and Sander.
Yep.
And just had a baby. So Sander, I'm not sure if you ever listened to us, but you started this. And as always, if you ever want to come back and do this with us, you're always welcome. And I miss you. And I hope you and your family are doing well. But yeah, that was like 2021. Like 3 years later, we finally got episode 50.
Well, I mean, someone has been doing an episode every single day.
And you're welcome for doing that.
Yeah, so thank you so much.
It's really funny because if you guys subscribe to us, you get that notification every day. And my wife, Lulu, one day looks at me, she goes, I'm gonna have to unfollow you guys on Spotify. I said, why? She goes, I'm tired of getting a notification every single day of a 1 minute episode.
Uh-huh.
How do those do?
They do okay.
Like 10 listeners?
Yeah, we got a few people. I mean, I think now what I'm gonna do is when I release those 1 minute episodes, I'm gonna send them out to every player on our team.
I like it.
Because they're 1 minute of a
Gold.
really good mental skill, a mindset skill,
Sure.
something that we're trying to reinforce, that we're trying to teach to our teammates, or our players, something they can take with them everywhere they go. So it's just something that a little bit of piece of content, a little bit of mindset stuff that you can take with you every day. And then whenever Bodzin and I get a chance to come together, we're going to do an episode and just chop it up about whatever's on the top of our brain and whatever's going on. So,
and as I'm sure you guys have assumed, if you were an avid listener, or if you're finding us 3 years from now and started going through all of our episodes, like, oh my God, that guy has a beard now. It's tough to get together because, Aaron and I work together on a lot of stuff, but very rarely do we get more than 15, 20 minutes in the same place at the same time. And so it becomes tough. And then recently he decided he was looking for a house and decided he didn't want to be close to me and move further away from me. I think that was the specific reason, right? Like Rhea was just sick of you coming over like on a whim. She's like, no, we're moving to other side of the country.
we only moved to Little
County. Yeah, it's pretty far.
Anyways.
It's off 380.
We did move.
Congrats,
that's a big deal.
Yeah,
Getting married in September. That's still happening. That's awesome.
Is it?
Yeah.
We never talk about it.
My bachelor party's coming up.
It is.
In May.
Yeah.
The
May
bachelor
1st through
party,
4th.
really the bachelor party is kicking off is the summer season with our 15U kids.
This is true.
Because it's the first weekend of May.
It's our last hurrah.
It's sort of our last go until we get really serious into the season.
Mm-hmm.
We go on basically a big time sprint with our boys.
I think it's
May,
great
June, and July.
that a bunch of your friends are coming to celebrate our kickoff of the season.
Yeah.
I'm going to start inviting some of my friends too. Then.
You should. Tell them to come to Austin.
Oh, for sure. I have friends in Austin.
I know. I met
It's
them at your
amazing,
bachelor party.
You only met the ones I wanted you to meet. I'm going to invite the rest of them.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, sure.
Oh, jeez. But
Baseball.
anyways, I wanted to ask you this question, Coach Bodzin.
Sure.
As you've been researching, studying, and learning more about pitching as a whole, and mostly the body as a whole, and then pitching sort of just a byproduct of what you've learned about the body.
Okay.
What's the most interesting thing you've come upon in your studies?
The most interesting thing I've come upon that has actually helped me explain why we do certain things is the human head is 7% of our body. So if you are 200 pounds, you have 14 pounds sitting on your shoulders. And as such, your head also is the basis of our balance completely. You can move a lot of parts of our body without falling over, right? Like I can sit down and just say, oh, our legs are what keep us balanced. Well, I can, like right now, I'm sitting and I'm balanced with my feet off the ground, right? But my head, if I move my head this way, my entire body goes, no matter what, right? And so as a thrower, whether you're a catcher, third base, shortstop, second base, quarterback, tennis player, golfer, a rotational athlete in any way, shape, or form, where your head goes is where your body goes. And so you need that head to be nose over belly button when you do these things with posture and balance. Otherwise, you cannot get what you need out of your body because you have 14 pounds for a 200-pound person doing it. You have 14 pounds going in a different direction than your body.
Yeah.
And so if my job is to pitch the ball straight to the catcher, straight in front of me, but my head is going to the left when I do it, we call that off posture, which actually will hurt our labrum. If we do it enough times, we're off balance enough. But also I have 14 pounds, 7% of my body is now going that way when I need the rest of my body to go that way, which is, why we say the archaic teach of pulling the glove side is indeed not a good teach, because now I'm pulling the glove side, which means pulls my head this way, which pulls my body this way. I'm still trying to throw. So you would never, at third base, pull the glove to throw. You never see catchers pull the glove to throw. You never see hitters pull their shoulders back this way to hit.
Well, you do see it, it's just not good.
Right, it's not a good thing, right? But for some reason, people have decided that it's a good thing for one thing, and that's pitching. It's not a good thing.
Right.
And it does affect your physical health and then your mental health, because you just don't do your job to your capability, or you do it until you get hurt, which affects your mental health.
Yeah, I mean, everything is going to affect the mind. Like, if you feel like you're doing everything that you're told to do, and the ball is still not ending up in the spot where you want it to, I mean, that's obviously going to take a toll on you. Then does my bicep hurt, then my bicep turns into my shoulder hurting, my shoulder hurts, now my elbow hurts, and now everything hurts, and you're wondering why, because you did everything you were supposed to do.
Yeah.
But that was technically wrong.
Yes. It was.
You learned that, I learned that the head in wrestling and in jiu-jitsu, right? Because if I can control a person's head, I control their whole body. If I want them to go to the right or the left, and I have control over their head, that's why you do a collar and elbow tie-up, so you can get control of their neck. And when you're breaking someone's posture or trying to sweep them, you're trying to move their head. And so it obviously correlates into many different sports, but it makes a lot of sense.
Yes.
In baseball, specifically pitching-wise. So
yes.
That's cool. Anything else? Anything else you got?
I've learned nothing else besides that.
I know you've learned a ton. I don't want you to relay every piece of information.
No,
but the ones
that's a big one. That's a big one. Also, just the muscle groups that we need to keep healthy and keep strong. The external, internal rotations of the accelerators and decelerator muscles are what those are. Our scaptions, our scapulars, and our shoulder health, as well as our grip and our forearm, are specific muscle groups that need to be healthy and strong as we throw. And if we're weak and off balance in any of those, if those three of those groups are strong and one's weak, you're a big injury risk. And so I've begun to do a lot of mobility and flexibility training in my sessions, and allowing people to learn how to get their hips open up, to get their core activated. In fact, I had shout out Hawk Bowers, Tuesday night guy, Denton Geyer, came in yesterday morning at 7 a.m., did a core, shoulder, and hip activation session with me for 45 minutes and towel drills just to get his momentum going. And then he went 5 2/3, hit 93 on the gun, 9 strikeouts, 3 hits, and four walks. But I think 3 of those were when you got into the 70s and 80s, and he was just tired. People get tired, and you can tell it in their eyes, and you still battle, and you start walking guys because your mechanics aren't what you want them to be. But he absolutely shoved, and that goes in line with a lot of the things I'm learning about how our body needs to move, but you have to treat your body right. So you can go lift the heck out of weights, and that's great. Like, I'm not against lifting, but I am against doing nothing else but lifting, especially if you're a rotational athlete, especially if you're a pitcher or quarterback, because there are certain ways you should be lifting, and you also need to be flexible and mobile at the same time if you want to get into your hips, because that's where we get our power. We get our power by coming through our hips, torque retention, shoulder and hip separation and torque retention, which allow our hips to come all the way through. But if our hips are dead because we've been doing box squats for 5 years, but have done nothing to open our hips back up, you can't get into those. And now you could be throwing the ball 90, but instead you're throwing the ball 73 because you have nothing. You have nothing to throw your arm through the zone. Right. You can't get the hips going. Same thing as you're hitting the shoulder hip separation. If you don't have anything coming, then like how hard can you really hit the ball?
Right. Yeah, I mean, there are some hitters who are giving up hip rotation for barrel control and for bat speed and for making eye contact with the ball, but that's very few hitters.
Sure.
Like, who's the guy from the Marlins who won the batting title? But anyways, I watch his videos on Instagram, and he's still under the guise of like squishing the bug, basically, because he doesn't care about getting super deep into the backside, driving the knee to the floor, and engaging his full gluteus.
Right.
He cares about his hands through the zone, seeing the ball a long time, and just being able to make contact and put the ball where he wants to. That's why he hits 330. But it's like what you want to give up a little bit, in terms of where that's going. But if you want to hit the baseball 100 miles an hour off the bat, then yeah, you have to get into your backside. You have to use your hips. You have to allow your hands to be a little freer and looser. You have to stay through it. Your head has to stay behind the baseball. All those things that you're mentioning as a pitcher apply to people as baseball players or hitters as well.
Which is why I'm going to that NPA certification for golfers and for golf swings and baseball swings, just to learn more about how similar those are in terms of what we're trying to do.
In Atlanta?
In Atlanta.
Hopefully I can go with you.
I know. I'm still waiting for the right opportunity to ask.
I'm just going to show up.
Okay.
Anyways, also some other news. You got a new job title here with the Dallas Patriots.
I do have a new job title.
What's going on there?
I joined the Dallas Patriots with you back in
September.
I think we signed in October or August, right?
Yeah, we signed in August. We started in September.
And the idea behind it for me coming to the Patriots, the big thing that lured me to the Patriots was it used to be a very large organization, very similar to some of the other places we've gone. But it's turned into more of a, hey, we're going to restart and do things the right way, which I respect the heck out of. And in just 5 months' time, they have recently named me as Director of Baseball Operations for the Dallas Patriots organization, which is a big honor because from a high school perspective, there's a ton of respect on the Patriots name. From a youth side, we're kind of rebuilding to make sure that we can have the same exact reputation. It's happening very well. You know, our 11U is very well respected right now. Our 9U is very well respected right now. But we came in at the 14U last year, now 15U, and there's been kind of a restart on that. And there's a few of those age groups that are getting restarted, but once that gets fully restarted, I think that this is going to be one of the best, if not the best, select organizations in the city, state, and the country. And I'm really excited to be a part of that because my hope is to, from the get-go, is to have feedback for a smaller conversation where we have the ear of the people who are decision makers. And now I'm blessed with the opportunity to be one of those decision makers.
Yeah, I'm really excited about our 2027 group.
And our 2027 group is really good. So what we did is we started from square zero, and you have to start with 2 or 3 kids that we started with, and then word of mouth comes around, and we started recruiting other people. But nobody in our 2027 group was just sight unseen. Nobody knows anybody about anybody, and so what we have instead is a bunch of kids who are elite human beings who are good at baseball, with some great parents as well, which is exciting for all of us. And so we're going to have a very strong top team, so much so that some of the top team players that we saw as top team players might end up being second team guys, which makes us a very strong second team as well, which then some of those second team guys that we thought we had are going to end up being third team guys, and we're going to have 3 competitive baseball teams with the 2027 group, if not more, and if not stronger as the years go on. And very excited about what we were able to do.
Yeah, man, kudos to you. You went on the recruiting trail, and you got a lot of parents then to recruit for you because they believe in the vision and the mission that you and I have created. I cannot take credit for any of the recruiting. Bodzin does all of that. I come in a little bit at the end here and there, but mostly that's his expertise and where he thrives. So our team was built off of the back of his hard work. And I'm excited to be able to work with those kids and try to make them the best that they want to be. Yes. Our specialty together is that, working in tandem to try and get these kids where they want to go.
Which was a big part of our conversation. My conversations with these parents is that, I don't have an assistant coach. I have a co-coach, Aaron Mashbitz, who everything that I'm bad at, he's good at. Everything he's bad at, I'm good at. We work really well together. And these kids want to be a part of that, want to be a part of the mental performance and the idea that effort is praised over outcome consistently. And I think, that's already on a shirt, but I think it's pretty much going to be our motto this season. Praise effort over outcome. And perhaps everybody should have one of those shirts. And, definitely have something in the dugout that says that.
Yeah.
Or just a shirt that is in the dugout at all times. Either way, but it's such an important piece of 15U baseball that these kids are just now learning the grind of high school baseball. Like, these kids are exhausted, and we haven't hit summer ball yet, and they're so used to just playing spring ball and then being done. And it's not like that anymore. And so our entire approach is, of course, we want to win games, but more importantly, we want to develop you into better human beings and better ball players, and help you get recruited to the next level. And that's absolutely paramount, especially with this organization that has a lot of scouts. I recently helped take over the Twitter account of the Patriots. And so I went through the messages just to see, people who have messaged that account before. And it's a lot of Division I recruiters asking, hey, who should be looking for this weekend on your team? And that excites me, because that's a big part of what I've been telling people is, we do have a reputation of getting kids recruited. We do want to make sure that we're getting you in front of the right people. That's one of the things that we do with tournaments is we're going to find tournaments that either a lot of coaches go to, or there's a good chance of us going deep, and preferably both. Right? Like, we can go, we've been invited to, but we'll not go this year, but probably next year, the BCS National Championship Perfect Game, which is on national TV. And that's a very exciting opportunity to have, where we should have the opportunity, if we're strong enough, which I think this year, it's why I didn't put us in this year. I want us to mesh together as a team for 1 year before we're going up against 49 of the best teams in the country. But certainly there's a lot of coaches there. And that's when we can start telling people, hey, these kids are going to be recruit eligible in a month and a half, and you should be looking at these guys, and I'll make sure they play.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the first year is paramount for not so much winning a bunch of baseball games, but making sure we're creating the right culture, that all of our players understand how we operate. So a lot of that has to do with deprogramming them from what old coaches might have done to reprogramming them to what we do.
Yes.
And that's a lot, because who knows what type of coaches they have at high school or in their travel baseball career, to thinking about how we coach, and then allowing them to take that looseness, that relaxedness, that fun back into wherever they go for high school. Right. So the first year is about creating that culture. I mean, we have the talent to go play in any tournament in the country, but that's not really the point.
Right.
The point is to bring our best selves, because a lot of what recruiting is you only get one shot sometimes.
Yes.
Now, for young people, 15, 16, 17, usually you get multiple looks, especially if you have the right build, or you play for the right organization, or the right coach has your back. But we want to make sure that first look is a good first impression, because you do only get one first impression.
Yes.
And we want to make sure our boys are ready, because playing in front of scouts and travel baseball and being in hotels and being on the road, that's a different dynamic than just driving to a baseball game on the weekend than having your parents drive you home.
Correct.
You have to learn how to have fun, but also learn how to get some sleep. How do you handle the pressure? How do you prepare each day when you're not in your normal routine, when you're at a hotel room? Like, what does that look like? Because when you're in college baseball, or God willing pro ball, that's your whole life. And so you have to have mastered that art. And so we're giving ourselves a chance at 15U to try and master that art, because these boys are still young.
Yes.
Like, they might still be at the pool till 10, 11, 12 in the morning, like at night. And can we technically get mad at them? Maybe, but they're still young boys. They still are. 15, 16, 17 is a young man, and they're going to make some mistakes along the way. And so we have to be teaching them and coaching them along the way. Like, what's too late? Okay, maybe 10:30 bedtime if we play at noon or 3 the next day.
Yeah.
Like, if we play at 8 a.m., we got to go to bed a little bit earlier. Right. So understanding those different things, and some people might not think that's important, but that's wildly important. And that also creates friendship, that creates closeness. Like, all of this stuff is so important. And the first year of our program, which we want to have these kids, majority of them, retention rate is not always 100%, but we're going to try our best, is going to be 15, 16, 17, and 18. And by the time these kids are 18 years old, we'll have known them for 3, almost 4 years.
Sure.
And that's a long time to build a relationship with someone and to teach them about life and about baseball and how they operate and the standards they want to live by, so they can take that into their next program, and they don't have to be taught any of these values or characteristics. Or how to sleep on the road, or how to take care of yourself on the road, or how to do all these things. And so that's also an important piece of creating this type of program, where we're going to be on the road all the time this summer. And And back to the praising effort over outcome is basically, it's not just a catchy phrase that I came up with. It's like scientifically proven by data over a long period of time that if you praise a person's effort rather than praising their outcome, they will perform better on the field.
Which is why when I'm talking to parents, I make it very clear to them, listen, as coaches, we are not everybody's cup of tea, because I care so much more about your son's development than I do winning games.
Right.
Losing games does not make me lose sleep. Feeling like I am not developing kids to my best ability does make me lose sleep.
Yeah.
And to that point, I lost my train of thought.
You'll get it back.
No, remind me what I was about to say.
We're talking about praising effort over outcome.
Right. And so to that point, there are games that we lose 2-1 that I'm very proud of these kids. And there are games where we win 10-0 where I'm pissed. I'm like, that was a terrible effort. You guys played down to their competition. We happen to be better than them. So of course we eventually broke through and won 10-0. But like, guys, you got to care more.
Yeah.
Right? It is always effort over outcome. Effort over outcome 100%.
Like, me and you have seen enough baseball games that we know what a good baseball game looks like. And you can't win every close game. 3-2, 2-1, 1-0.
Sure.
Like those are still really good baseball games. And they sting a little bit more than the ones you win or lose 10-0, because it's like, whatever, that was out of our reach, out of our sight.
Sure.
But in those close games, it teaches you way more about what little things we can do throughout the game. Was your secondary as good as it could have been on that pitch as that breaking ball in the dirt that you could have potentially got second base? Then on the next base hit, you could have scored. Now we're at first and third rather than you scoring. Like, those little minor details are what can be taught over time rather than a 10-0 game. But it's also a learning lesson there that you want to prepare and do the same routines every single game, no matter who you're playing. Because another one of our core tenets as coaches is to never let anyone take you out of your game, especially us. Like, if we say something stupid or say something that you don't like, don't let me take you out of your game. You know what your game is. Don't let an umpire take you out of the game. Don't let a parent take you out of the game, the other team. Like, know your game, know your style, know what your role is, and go out and execute that no matter the external circumstances. So that's another core tenet of ours, as long as with the full effort equals full victory thing. And there's some other things that we talk about in terms of our standards, because I told the boys the other day, we don't have rules, we don't have expectations, we have standards. And those things are much different. Rules are like for my 9-year-olds. Expectations are things that I hope people live up to. Standards are this is what we do. This is who we are. This is our character. Yes. This is our team. We are this standard, and we live by this as best we can. No one's ever perfect. There's going to be mistakes, and I expect mistakes. From Coach Bodzin and I expect mistakes. From the players I do. But how do we learn? How do we grow? How do we develop from those mistakes that allow us to be the best we can be? And so that's just like a small snippet of what we're trying to teach these boys. And it can't be done in a 3-month span.
Correct.
But it can be done over a 3 to 4 year span, where we have constant contact with them, and we can talk to them, we can develop them, we can see them go through growing pains and challenges, and how we can help them and guide them, and they can lean on us for those experiences, and we can lean on them to grow together. And it's such a beautiful thing, and it's a great responsibility to have. And it's unbelievable that so many parents, like 40 families, will want to trust us with having at least a little bit of hand in their players' development. Because really, we don't do anything. We're just a guide to lead them down the right path, but they're taking all the action. They're doing all the things. We just happen to be lucky enough to be a part of that. And it's cool.
Very. That's something else I said today. I was like, guys, I don't coach summer baseball to get rich. It's not an ego thing for me. There's a lot of coaches that we run into who are like that, right? And we've been around those guys before. Yeah. And it's unfortunate because, I talked to somebody today about my approach as a coach. I was like, hey, I barely get paid enough to stay in a relationship with my wife. like while doing this. Like, I get paid just enough. And honestly, just enough for her to say, it's okay if you do this for the summer. And it's not an indictment on the Dallas Patriots. It's an indictment on how much people generally get paid for select baseball. There's not a ton of money doing just that, right? Mm-hmm. It's just, you're not going to get rich doing it.
Right.
I do it because I love developing these kids. I love being a part of this. I love making sure that kids under our care are getting better and being a part of their development. Like, that becomes more of an ego thing, I think, for me. It's a pride thing for me, I guess. Mm. I love the feeling of helping be a part of somebody's development.
Yeah.
Like, that makes me so happy. It's such a gratifying thought that when Hawk Bowers came off the mound yesterday, he thanked me, and he's like, and his dad told me that, you know, he speaks very highly of me, and he's very driven to get better under me. Like, that makes me feel really good. And it's not an ego thing, because like, I don't tell everybody in the world. I don't like say, hey, this is my guy. Like, I try to say, hey, this is how hard he works. This is what he does. I just love, I'm very blessed to have the opportunity to be a part of these guys' developments, both in my, what I call 9 to 5, which is my pitching stuff, and my, you know, summer time and fall time job, which is, you know, Dallas Patriots coaching. Mm-hmm. And then honestly from the director of ops position too, because I'm helping keep a organizational going that helps kids get better, which is just, it's cool.
Yeah. I mean, I do it because I know how much baseball impacted my life in the best ways possible. And I just want kids to experience that love, that joy, those relationships, the trials and tribulations, the challenges, overcoming things. Like, baseball was the number one vehicle for everything that I learned in my life. And it took me till I was about 27 years old to figure that out.
Sure.
And so it's interesting. It's an interesting deal there.
Yeah.
But
anything else?
Any last minute thoughts there, Coach Bodzin?
No, happy 50th episode, man. This is
happy 50th episode.
Can we like put like balloons like in our little deal? Can Ben put that in there?
I don't know.
Ben, please put like balloons
right
over
now.
Like,
as we're still going on this episode.
50. Woo! We got there. There's balloons everywhere. Look at those balloons.
Oh my God.
This is so cool. I'm so glad we set this up. Thanks for doing that, Ben.
But everything you need to know about Champions Adjust can be found at champsadjust.com. T-shirts, merch, podcast, coaching, all the good stuff.
You can also go to Champs Adjust on Instagram. That is Champs Adjust Aaron Mashpitz.
It just says my name and the thing. Anyways.
You guys to say that as soon as
yeah. Go to champsadjust.com. Cheers. See you guys next time whenever we see you. And
don't ever forget that Champions Adjust. No, you got to say with me that Champions Adjust.